All right. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I got a story to tell. Yesterday, I had one of the most interesting and not good travel days I've ever had. Some of you know I travel a bit for work. And yesterday, I was going to a Jewish songwriter retreat, and I'm on faculty, and I'm supposed to be one of the facilitators and teachers, and plus I get to see my friends, and it was supposed to be great. So I get to the airport. Y'all know it's shut down. So every federal employee, I was thanking them so much for showing up for work. I was thanking TSA agents. And I have clear and I have pre-check. But when I get to the security line after I've gone through the initial TSA agent, who I also thanked for her work, I hand them my guitar because they have to go through it. Usually it's not an issue. And I give my guitar, and they open my case. And the guy says he has to call somebody over because it had alerted for everything. And I asked, by the time three different TSA agents came over, I said, can y'all please tell me what that means? And all they kept saying was, your case alerted for everything. And I said, y'all keep saying that, but what does that mean? And what that means is everything that it could possibly alert for. And I'm not going to say the words on TikTok, so all the bad stuff. So then I have to now take off my shoes, take off my jacket. They have to take my all of my stuff has to go through the scanner. Plus, they have to do a physical check on me. One of the TSA agents, who's a female, I was looking at her. I was like, "What does this mean?" She just sort of looked at me like, "It's okay," and I was calm, still thanking the TSA agents for everything because I wasn't mad. They're doing their job because I knew there was nothing there. They went through my backpack, didn't put anything back the way it was supposed to, but okay, I fixed it. And the TSA agent had my guitar. He said, "Here's your guitar back," and then that was it. So then I was like, okay, that I figured that would be the most exciting thing, and that would be the story that I would tell when I get to the retreat. Anyway, I get to my gate. I get to the gate sometime a little around after 9. I think boarding was like 10:30, 10:40. I don't know. Board. Oh, first of all, there's a little delay. Um, and then I board and I'm on the flight. And then the pilot, that's still the pilot comes on and says, um, there's like an hour delay in LaGuardia. I was like, okay, fine. So I'm sitting on this plane for an hour. So I figured I'd start doing some work. And then that hour turned into another hour and 2 hours. I don't even know at this point. And then we finally start to, they let some people off the plane to take a break, but they had to take all their stuff. And then come back on the plane. And we finally start to taxi down the runway at some point in the middle of the afternoon. And then we had to come back. I think because of the LaGuardia airport shut down for a moment. Part of it was weather, also probably because of traffic control. I'm not really sure. And then at some point we had the deplane, but the flight attendants and the pilot was saying, "Don't worry, folks. We're not going to time out. We're going to volunteer, whatever they could do for 2 additional hours." So we're all off the plane, and I paused because I was thinking of something. and then eventually the pilot and the crew did actually have to time out legally. Meanwhile, I met these two wonderful ladies who were on a golfing trip here in North Carolina. Their trip got rained out while they were here in North Carolina. Then that weather pattern, of course, moved up to LaGuardia when they were trying to go home. Anyway, we had wonderful cocktails in at a bar. We also sat. We were on the same row, one of the ladies I was with, and there was a guy in between us, and he was getting more and more heated. And the Delta flight crew, I think, handled him exceptionally. I've been around enough men in particular as they start to get heated. It never looks good. But they handled him, and he was fine. Nothing happened. Anyway, by the end of the day, I never made it to my retreat center. They couldn't get me a flight out in a reasonable time because once I got to New York, I still had to drive another hour. The earliest it looked like if the when I left, if the last flight was going to take off on time, which none of them had, I wouldn't have gotten to my destination until about 10 o'clock at night. And that was not good for me. The Delta agent tried every way possible to get me on another flight the next day. That didn't work. And to their credit, I think because legally they have to, Delta gave me a full refund. But that was my day yesterday. Thank you for sitting through this TED Talk. But the cool thing is, one blessing, is that this is our first, Susan and I have our first Halloween in our new house. And I get to give candy out to kids tomorrow, tonight, not tomorrow. Anyway, happy Friday.